The American bison, a majestic creature of the Great Plains, was much more than just an animal to the Native American tribes. It was a cornerstone of our existence, a symbol of our spirituality, and a provider of our sustenance. For centuries, the lives of the Plains Indians and the bison were deeply intertwined. The bison provided everything from food and clothing to shelter and tools. This profound connection was rooted in a deep respect for the natural world. They hunted the bison with reverence, using every part of the animal and wasting nothing. The arrival of European settlers disrupted this delicate balance. With their advanced weaponry and insatiable hunger for land, the newcomers posed a significant threat. The 19th century saw the United States gripped by the ideology of manifest destiny, a belief that the nation was destined to expand its dominion across the North American continent. This belief, fueled by a potent mix of nationalism, economic ambition, and racial prejudice, provided justification for the displacement and often brutal treatment of Native American tribes. Westward expansion became a national priority, driven by the promise of new land, resources, and opportunities. The government enacted policies to encourage settlement, including the Homestead Act, which granted land to citizens willing to cultivate it. This westward surge put the interests of white settlers in direct conflict with those of the Native Americans, who had called these lands home for generations. As settlers encroached upon their territories, tensions escalated, leading to violent confrontations and displacement. The bison, once a symbol of abundance and prosperity for the Plains Indians, became a pawn in this struggle for control of the West. The U.S. Army, tasked with securing the West, recognized the vital importance of the bison to the Plains Indians. By eradicating the bison, they could cripple the tribe's ability to resist expansion. The extermination of the bison became a strategic military objective. General Philip Sheridan articulated this strategy with chilling clarity. He recognized that the destruction of the bison would influence the civilization of the Indians. By depriving the tribes of their primary resources, the Army aimed to force them onto reservations. The U.S. Army played a central role in the bison's demise. Commercial interests saw an opportunity to profit from the bison's decline. The railroad expansion and hide trade accelerated the animal's decline. Railroads viewed the bison as a nuisance, obstructing their tracks. They hired hunters to decimate the herds, leaving carcasses to rot. Demand for bison hides soared in the east. Bison leather was used for belts, boots, and machinery belts. This demand created a lucrative market for hunters and traders. The near extinction of the bison had a catastrophic impact on the Native American tribes of the Great Plains. With their primary source of sustenance gone, they faced widespread starvation, disease, and displacement. Their way of life, intrinsically linked to the bison, was shattered. Forced onto reservations, often on land ill-suited for their traditional ways of life, the Plains Indians faced immense hardship. Their traditional knowledge, passed down through generations, was disrupted. The loss of the bison represented not just the loss of a vital resource, but the loss of a way of life, a cultural identity, and a spiritual connection to the land. The environmental consequences were equally severe. The once vast grasslands, grazed and fertilized by millions of bison, began to change. The delicate ecological balance was disrupted, leading to soil erosion, changes in plant life, and a decline in biodiversity. The near extinction of the bison stands as a stark reminder of the destructive power of human actions driven by greed, prejudice, and disregard for the natural world. Section 6. A legacy of resilience. The bison's slow return. By the early 20th century, the American bison had been driven to the brink of extinction. Only a few hundred individuals remained, scattered in isolated pockets across the West. Yet, even in the face of such devastation, there was a glimmer of hope. Conservationists, recognizing the ecological and cultural importance of the bison, began efforts to protect the remaining herds and breed them in captivity. Yellowstone National Park became a sanctuary for some of the last remaining wild bison, providing a safe haven for their recovery. Slowly, painstakingly, the bison began to make a comeback. Ranchers and conservationists worked together to establish new herds, reintroducing the animals to their former ranges. The importance of remembering lessons from a near extinction. The story of the American bison is not just a tale of ecological devastation. It is a stark reminder of the human capacity for both destruction and redemption. It highlights the dangers of unchecked greed, the devastating consequences of ignoring the rights of indigenous peoples, and the importance of conservation efforts in preserving our planet's biodiversity. Remembering the near extinction of the bison is not about dwelling on the past, but about learning from it. It is about understanding the interconnectedness of all living things and recognizing that our actions have consequences. It is about honoring the resilience of nature and the importance of protecting our planet's precious resources for generations to come. Today, the American bison stands as a testament to the power of conservation and a symbol of hope for the future. While their numbers are still a fraction of what they once were, their recovery is a remarkable conservation success story. Across the American West, bison are returning to the landscape, restoring balance to ecosystems and reconnecting people to their cultural heritage. Their presence is a reminder of the importance of preserving biodiversity, respecting indigenous knowledge, and living in harmony with nature. A call for continued protection. The near extinction of the American bison serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of our natural world and the importance of responsible stewardship. It is a story that demands to be told and retold, ensuring that the lessons learned from this tragic chapter in American history are never forgotten. As we move forward, let us remember the bison, not only for their majestic presence, but also for the sacrifices they endured. Let their story inspire us to protect our planet's biodiversity, honor the rights of indigenous peoples, and strive for a future where humans and nature can coexist in harmony. The survival of the bison, and indeed the health of our planet, depends on it.